And after going through all that, what became the biggest fear apart from this? I don't know if the ones that you mentioned were the biggest fears that you had, or challenges that you had to face
Yeah.
that could have stopped you, and how
Mm,
did you could overcome them and go through with them?
absolutely. You know, Marta, I really appreciate you asking the question that way, because I have shifted my use of the word fear.
Okay.
You know, words carry a lot of power, and I love that you paired it with or challenge. Because there were challenges for sure. There were certainly concerns, strong concerns, and there were also old preferences, right? Meaning like my old operating system, the way that I used to do things that were, well-worn, comfortable, pathways that I had was very familiar with. I had a lot of things that I was very familiar with, and I was facing a lot of unfamiliar things. But fear, very specifically, is something that we talk about very casually in in society these days. And there have only been a couple of times in my life where I really felt fear, right? And like they were actually like dangerous situations where time was of the essence and like there was real threat. That's when
Right.
I felt actual fear. What I felt so much of the time was actually, I would rename as discomfort,
Yeah.
a
I like
lot of
that one.
discomfort. So I'll share with you some of my greatest discomforts. Is that okay?
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Okay. So my first greatest discomfort was, what if I'm making a decision that is going to make us worse off, right? And so I'm a mother and I'm married, and so I feel a lot of responsibility to my family. So one of my greatest discomforts was, what if I make a mistake? And what if I make our family worse off than we are today by making these decisions? So that was like the first thing. The second thing, big discomfort, huge discomfort. This one's a big, big one for a lot of people, is I was moving from an employee situation where you get an exact amount of money down to the penny, down to the minute, predictable income, right? And so I was really uncomfortable with the idea that I would need to create a system that brings more than that, more money than I was getting ideally. And I really was uncomfortable with the idea that I could get a lot of money and then no money, so that
Yeah.
irregularity of flow of money was really an uncomfortable thing to address and to look at. What was another discomfort? Oh, another really big discomfort is, what if you don't like me, right? And you being anybody,
Yeah, exactly. I know what you mean.
right? So I felt like I had earned so much reputation in my old career, and for me, forming friends felt really hard. Like I was very awkward. There was a lot that was uncomfortable about the change, and I would say those were kind of the really big ones. Was just the social change, the change in the economics, the finances, and then I
In the
think
family.
just being worried that the value would not be understood, and especially because I was no longer attached to a bigger entity that had a huge established brand.